radius here to do a bit of jolly old train spotting. And next train in, I think it'll be James. Woohoo! And I'm right up the signal. There's the car. I managed to find a place to sneak in, and that train's been set to idling its engines, and it stinks. I can smell it from here. And they could do with a more efficient way of stopping and starting the engine, maybe compressed air perhaps, or something that doesn't have to do that. And like that car there, for example, because I'm not allowed to park here, I'm not actually parked, I'm waiting, the ignition on, and yet the engine's not running because it's in hybrid mode. Well, maybe the trains could do that, that'd be good. Well, I'm standing on an old railway sleeper here, so that just gets me above the height of the fence. So if James has got time, he might actually come over and actually see me before he gets on this train. Train actually stops at the bridge so that he can, so that the driver who arrives just gets off and goes straight up onto the bridge, and crosses over and gets a commuter train back to Didcot. They're based at Didcot, but the trains are so long they couldn't. Trains are so long that when they stopped at Didcot, it occupied not only the track section of the station, but the one behind where there were other crossing points, and that was making life difficult for the train operators. So they, even though they're based at Didcot, they run one station along, which is here at Oxford, and the drivers get a commuter train up because they get free travel, swap drivers here, and then go back to Didcot. Now you see that train there, that's an 800 series. That is the very series of trains that James was involved in commissioning. At the time he wasn't driving, he was a train liaison officer. So he sat in the cab and he talked to the drivers, and as the drivers made notes about how the train was running, brand new train, you know, basically an MOT test for trains, James took notes and basically did all the communicating. So effectively like the co-pilot does on an airline, that does all the communicating. And but he's since moved on to driving, and I'm just looking. I'm not sure if he's getting into the driver's side. Yeah, I think they've just changed drivers there themselves. So then he'll be coming past, and I think the next train will be James himself. He's about due now. And funnily enough, good friend Mike 20 years ago used to live just over there somewhere, at Cripley Road. This is the railway company's own kind of lane, but just behind it is the backyards for a lane called Cripley Road, and it was more opposite the platform. Many a time overnighting at his after a night on the drink, and they're driving home the next morning, and occasionally train would turn up and it wouldn't be going vroom, it'd be going chuff 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 chuff. So we got a few opportune visits to steamers, and there goes the 800 series, and get away from the driver. Little does he know my connection with it. Now they're called electro diesels. An electro diesel is a train that can be diesel powered, but also has a direct connection to the track, to the electrical supply. Obviously the pantographs are down, but nearer London where it drives under the wires, they can put a pantograph up and switch from diesel to pure electric power, and such trains are called electro diesels. As what James will be driving is a diesel electric, which the prime mover force is actually diesel only, but obviously the engine drives a generator, drives electric motors under the engine, and so there we have it. I'm going to move my car a little bit forward. I think it's still slightly blocking the road. I was actually wary of blocking this container, but I think I'll move forward a little bit, so See you in a bit. I think I'm all right.
Yeah.
Famous after with.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well,
So, I don't know what we're going to do about. We're not coming down Christmas Day, sadly.
no.
We're going to try and do something next week. But
We can either do it next week or even delay it into the new year. It's not critical.
No.
Because it used to be called the 12 days of Christmas, so there's no need now to bung it all into one day.
Yeah.
It gets a bit. No reason why it can't go into the new year.
No, that's it.
Because it's all been a bit odd.
It has. It's an unusual year.
Well, they intended to run tomorrow, but didn't because not there wasn't the business, or was it?
No, it's just the terminals are shut. So
yeah,
the terminal's shut for Christmas. So
oh right.
they're back on the morning next week.
Yeah. Because I noticed the freight was a bit light recently, so I wondered if they
We've
just
had
take one.
about hardly any boxes. I think we had 8 boxes on it coming back yesterday from East
Yeah.
Midlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been empty lately. Very empty.
Is that just because of Christmas, or is
I
it?
don't know. Just what's coming in and what's being shipped, isn't it?
I wonder if it's the fiasco with Brexit.
They caught the people who robbed the train. I can't remember what I said.
Oh, brilliant! No, you didn't.
Yeah, they caught them 2 days later.
What on the same lay-by, was
In
it?
the same place, yeah.
So they just stake it out today and
I'm guessing
jump on
so.
them.
Well, they found all the goods were still there.
Oh,
they
right.
took all the stuff off the train and they buried it in the hedges.
Yeah.
And under all the trees and sticks and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing they waited them out. They come back for it and got them.
Oh, brilliant!
Birmingham, of course.
Yeah. And did it help me knowing that the train hadn't been robbed when I went past me? Did that help them at all?
I didn't ask, but
Yeah.
it was just it was to back up the shunter down Southampton.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anyone blaming the shunter, saying he
Yeah.
didn't do his train prep properly,
Yeah.
and saying
But
it was just
left the doors open.
Also, it meant that when I'd sent an email,
Yeah.
a report.
Yeah.
It also meant that I knew that it had happened after Oxford, so
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
on my ship it had happened.
Yeah.
I knew where it had happened. I knew it was at Wroughton, Birmingham. I never
Yeah.
normally stop there, but I stopped
No.
there for about 20 minutes. So
All right.
12 containers in total.
Surprised it didn't nick the wheels.
I know. It's just approaching Cullen.
No, certain places have a reputation, don't they?
Yeah.
And yeah. Yeah, of course, you didn't notice anything at the time. Can you lock the doors on those trains just in case you get
What, the actual
hijacked?
door itself?
Yeah. You can't lock yourself in, so
Yeah, you can lock doors on them, yeah.
so.
So this one, we stopped.
So somebody
twice
can't leap
today.
in and grab the driver. They'd have to try and pry their way in.
Yeah, well, we got stopped twice. We stopped on the way up twice.
Yeah.
Either Hatton or Dorridge.
Yeah.
And then at Kingsbury Junction we normally stop, and then it's all the way to East Mids.
Yeah.
On the way back, I follow everything.
Yeah.
I follow some all the way from East Midlands all the way to Oxford.
What on that day was it?
No, recently, like today, I follow something from East Midlands to Wroughton,
Yeah.
which is the start of Birmingham. Then I go from Tyseley, which is Birmingham.
Yeah.
Follow something from there to Dorridge.
Yeah.
Follow something from Dorridge to Hatton.
Yeah.
Then follow something
Yeah.
from Dorridge to Banbury.
Yeah.
Then I follow another train from Banbury all the way to Oxford.
Oh right.
So I stop at Banbury for 10 minutes while they get him ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stop everywhere. Right, he's just approaching round himself.
Right. Okay. So you go and get over there so you can jump on it when you
That's
arrive.
it. Right, have a good Christmas.
Yeah, and you. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. What's in the bag?
Say again?
What's in the bag?
About a litre of tea and a lot of food.
Oh, lovely. Oh yeah, you got a cooker in those things, haven't you? Yeah, of course. It's he comes back past midnight, so yeah, that figures. I'm seeing lights, but I think they're reflecting in the glass from something else. I'm not sure if it's actually a train or something. But, 800 series coming in there, actually, just creeping in. And yeah, you've got a red light. Ooh. One thing about those fast trains, you know, they've got very small side windows. That's deliberate. They found out that these really fast trains the scenery, if there's too much scenery flicking past either side of the driver, it can have a slight strobing effect. So they make the side windows very small now. I've often occurred to me in like the underground train tunnels, they have all the lights on the tunnel roof. Famous crash years ago where a train hit a tunnel wall and they think the driver became hypnotized. And I was just thinking the other day, if all those lights were positioned at different intervals and at different brightness levels and were slightly located, say one to the left or one to the right and then another one to the right and another one to the left, they're there just to provide a bit of background illumination in the tunnels. But by kind of mixing them up a bit, you wouldn't get that strobing effect, you wouldn't hypnotize all the drivers. I should have been a railway designer. I'm looking at all their steel girder bridges and I notice there's one there, so it wouldn't surprise me if sometime in the past where the car is parked what used to be a train track. In fact, you can even tell by the shape of the curb, it kind of really does look like there were 2 tracks or 3 tracks all going into one, like a sidings. And that is railway property after all, and but they've now used as a road. And no sign of 4019 yet, so don't mindlessly chatting. The trouble is, while I'm mindlessly chatting, I do tend to swing the phone around a lot, so I hope you're not making everyone seasick. And yeah, I had a good friend who lived just down there, so it was when I had a bit much to drink and too much to drive, I'd stay overnight at his, and you get the trains coming in, and sometimes they'd go chuff, 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 so you'd rush outside and go and have a look. And but the Valenta powered HSTs were quite a sight too. You had a washing machine with a rather whistly motor, and the Valenta engined HSTs had a big single turbocharger on the top, famous whistle. Then there are times where you literally struggle to tell whether it's a washing machine downstairs or an HST in the station. Sadly, most of the Valenta engines wore out in around 2010. They changed them all, and there's a Class 66. Zing, 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 zing. That sound, hear it? That zing, 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 zing. Happy memories of the Didcot power station. Coal train sat there with the Class 66 in the front going zing, 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 zing. But yeah, they changed the engine out because like they were 40 years old even then, and they started to wear badly and smoke. So they, the Valenta engine was a development of something called the Ventura, which was a non-turbocharged diesel, locomotive diesel. And you get a kind of more of a sense of the length of the thing as well, and because the locomotive had disappeared way up there out of view, and there's a load of flat cars, and then there's all that on the end, and but it's going down the middle track. It won't be doing a driver change or anything, although notice it has stopped. I wonder if it stopped for the other one coming the other way, which might be James. The driver brings it to here and stops under the bridge so he doesn't get wet, unlike me. It's starting to rain a bit, and then James will hop on and take it up from there. And now notice this fence is metal. If I was to arrange some sort of magnetic phone holder, I could just prop the phone on the post and I wouldn't be wobbling it about all over the place. At the moment I'm just resting it on, and that blasted train over there has still been idling away. It's been there for about half an hour. All it's just doing is burning diesel and not going anywhere. How dumb is that? Now I think train 4M19 is plodding its way in just now. I think I can see it, and in the far distance. But it's that one that's still outbound, the Freightliner, and well, no, what's that? No, it wasn't. It's DB Schenker. EWS are now DB Schenker, and EWS are the happy memories of pulling coal trains into Didcot. And there's a filing cabinet, and call those filing cabinets because I don't consider them to be terribly interesting. But, GWR, God's Wonderful Railway, they used to call it. Yeah, that's James in the far distance. See if I can zoom in. Yeah, it's the front of a Class 66 GBRf. We're doing a swapsy, driver swap. And yeah, I'll have to figure out a magnetic mount for this phone. And so I can, that's James getting in now. Yeah, they got cookers in those, the cookers, and so because like he'll be on that now for 12 hours. He'll be back at in the middle of the night, so they do 12-hour shifts. So when they get on, they need I need to take everything they need with them, and this light's green behind me, so he's got the green light, so as soon as they've done the driver swap, they're ready to go. And let's do a practice zoom. There's that one going out, and there's that one going in. So and handy to know that they stop at the bridge. I'll look forward to. I'll look into seeing if I can catch them starting off. I don't know what's involved in getting on the platform, onto the platform. That green, don't know if you can see it in the picture. You might notice it occasionally. There's a kind of green steeple thing. Well, that's the. Oh, there it is. There's a side. I forgot I'd zoomed in. That's the side business school, and. I can hear James revving up now. Again, the phone won't pick it up, but I can actually hear the rumble of the mighty diesel engine putting the power on. Yeah, he's starting to move now. I'm going to zoom out as he comes past. Starting off slow to take up the slop and the couplings, and then running up to power to roll James. And go out. Nice to note the rail freight's getting through. At the time of making this video, there's well over 1,000 lorries stuck at the ports because of all sorts of nonsense over Brexit and yada yada yada. So it's great to see that whole lot on the move. Oh, and that there coming in, very timely, is a Series 700. The 800s are, there's a Series 700. I might be wrong actually. Looks very much like a Series 700, but it might not be one, so I might be wrong on that one. And No, I'm not sure if it is. It's quite similar though. But Series 700s are good in that they can behave like long distance trains going cross country, and then they go through London like a kind of underground train, and then they pop out the other side. And I think it's quite ingenious, because getting across London is quite an issue with trains, which is why they're building that massive cross-rail project. Anyway, I'm going to stop nattering now, A, because James has been, and B, it's now raining, and I managed to spend a bit of time here without getting arrested. So I'm going to jump in the chariot, get old Toyota, and get off. What I'm actually going to do now is to have a drive round back to the station and investigate the possibility of, oh, it's getting quite heavy now, the rain. Investigate the possibility of doing a stop by the bridge. And brain fade. So yeah, the ignition's been on all the time, the whole car's been live, but being a hybrid, of course, the engine switches off. But I left the ignition on because it basically means that I can honestly say I wasn't parked, I was Freightliner, and I think it's a Class 70, but it's right. Get a seatbelt on and trundle off, because it's pity I missed that, but it's starting to rain. So talk soon.